The crystal chandelier shattered against the marble floor like 1,000 broken promises, shards scattering across the penthouse like stars fallen from a poisoned sky. Liam's hand trembled as he swept them up, the sharp edges nicking his palm, blood mixing with the champagne spill in a crimson smear that no amount of hurried wiping could erase. "You think this is over?" Lucas snarled from the doorway, his voice a venomous whisper that cut deeper than the glass, his emerald eyes blazing with the fury of a man who just discovered his empire, and his heart built on sand. Liam straightened, ignoring the sting in his hand, his heart pounding like a war drum in the opulent silence of the Manhattan high-rise. It was supposed to be just another shift at Eclipse Lounge, the kind where you smiled through gritted teeth, dodged entitled grabs for your ass, and pocketed tips that barely covered the rent on his shoebox apartment in Hell's Kitchen. But Lucas Harrington, the Harrington, tech mogul, Forbes' darling, the guy whose face grinned from billboards hawking the next big app that promised to revolutionize loneliness. He'd waltzed in 6 months ago like he owned the air Liam breathed, and in a way, he had. It started innocently enough. Or so Liam told himself in the quiet hours before dawn when regret clawed at his chest. Lucas had been nursing a scotch at the end of the bar, tie loosened, that signature Harrington smirk playing on his lips as he watched the crowd of Wall Street wolves and starlit hopefuls swirl around him. Liam, 24 and perpetually exhausted, had slid over with a refill unasked. "Rough night," he'd quipped, the words slipping out before he could censor them, his one rebellion against the scripted monotony. Lucas's laugh had been low, genuine, slicing through the din like sunlight through fog. "Rough life. More like, what's your poison, bartender? No, waiter. You're too pretty for the bar." The flirtation hung there, electric, and Liam felt his cheeks burn under the scrutiny. Pretty. It was the word that always got him, soft, disarming, a velvet glove over the iron fist of expectation. In a city that chewed up dreamers and spat out husks, Liam had learned to armor himself with sarcasm and swift exits. But Lucas, he lingered, tipping extravagantly, showing up 3 nights a week like clockwork, until the accidental brushes of fingers over change became deliberate. Heated glances over empty glasses turned into stolen conversations in the alley behind the club. "You're not like the others," Lucas had murmured one rain-slicked evening, pulling Liam under the awning as thunder grumbled overhead. Water dripped from Liam's dark curls, soaking his uniform shirt translucent against his lean frame, and Lucas's gaze had traced the lines like he was memorizing a map to buried treasure. "They all want something: money, status, a story to sell. You just see me." Liam had wanted to laugh, to shove him away with a joke about seeing dollar signs. But the vulnerability in Lucas's voice cracked something in him, a fissure that widened with every late-night text, every whispered confession over takeout in Liam's cramped kitchen. Lucas, 32 and untouchable, heir to a Silicon Valley dynasty transplanted to the concrete jungle, confessed his isolation, the boardroom battles, the faceless hookups that left him hollow, the pressure to marry some socialite heiress to seal a merger. "I'm tired of pretending," he'd said, fingers interlacing with Liam's on the worn couch, the city lights painting their skin in neon hues. "With you, I don't have to, and God." Liam had believed him. Believed in the way Lucas kissed him like he was starving, slow and deep in the shadows of Central Park, autumn leaves crunching underfoot like fragile vows. Believed when Lucas flew him to a private screening of some indie film festival in LA, their hands linked under a cashmere blanket in first class, whispering dreams of escape, of a life where love wasn't a liability. Liam, who'd grown up in a Rust Belt town in Ohio. Foster kid shuffled between homes that smelled of stale smoke and unspoken grief, had never dared dream of more than survival. Music was his secret, buried deep, a voice honed in church choirs and empty garages, songs scribbled in notebooks he hid under his mattress like contraband. Singing for Lucas in the shower, off-key duets to Springsteen on the radio, that was as far as he'd let it go. Vulnerability was a luxury he couldn't afford. But love, reckless and blind, made fools of them both. 6 months in, and Liam was head over heels, tattooing Lucas's initials on his ribcage in a drunken haze after a rooftop party, promising forever in the language of whispers. Lucas reciprocated with gifts, a vintage guitar gathering dust in the corner of Liam's apartment, a key to his Soho loft that felt like a crown. "Move in," he'd urged, eyes soft in the afterglow. "Let's make this real, real." The word echoed mockingly now as Liam stared at the chaos of the party prep around him. Tonight was Lucas's engagement gala. Yes, engagement. To Victoria Langford, blonde ambition incarnate, daughter of a media tycoon whose alliance would catapult Harrington Tech into the stratosphere. Liam had found out 2 weeks ago, stumbling upon the invitation on Lucas's desk while house-sitting his cat. The betrayal had been a gut punch, stealing his breath, leaving him gasping in the sterile luxury of that loft. How could he, after the promises, the nights tangled in silk sheets, murmuring, "I love you," like a prayer? He'd confronted Lucas that same night, voice breaking over takeout low main gone cold. "Is this some game? Am I just the side piece until the merger signed?" Lucas had paled, reaching for him, but Liam jerked away. "It's not like that, Lee. It's business. She means nothing. It's a contract, not a heart. You know you're the one I love." Liam spat, the word tasting like ash. "Then prove it. Call it off." The silence stretched, taut as a wire, until it snapped. "I can't," Lucas whispered, shoulders slumping. "Not yet. Give me time. After the gala, I'll end it. I swear. Time." Liam had given him everything else, his body, his trust, the fragile corners of his soul. What was a little more time? So he'd swallowed the lie, returned to Eclipse with a smile plastered on, serving drinks to the elite while his heart hemorrhaged. But tonight, as caterers buzzed like hornets in Lucas's palatial Upper East Side residence, Liam had been assigned waitstaff duty. A favor, Lucas had called it, slipping him the schedule with pleading eyes. "Please, just get through this. For us. For us." The phrase mocked him as he balanced trays of caviar blinis, dodging air kisses from socialites in designer gowns. The penthouse was a fever dream of excess. Floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Hudson's inky shimmer, jazz quartet tuning up in the corner, ice sculptures melting into abstract art. Guests trickled in. Tech bros with Rolexes glinting like shark teeth, actresses with laughter like shattered glass. And there, holding court by the grand piano, was Victoria, ethereal in ivory silk, her hand possessively on Lucas's arm. Liam's stomach twisted as he approached with a tray of flutes. "Champagne?" he offered, voice steady by sheer will. Victoria's eyes flicked over him dismissively, but Lucas's gaze locked on, raw with apology. "Liam," he breathed, too low for others to hear, his fingers brushing Liam's wrist in a ghost of a touch. "You look professional," Liam cut in, smile sharp as broken glass. "Wouldn't want to embarrass the happy couple." Lucas flinched, But before he could respond, Victoria trilled, "Darling, introduce me to your staff. This one's got such soulful eyes, almost like he could sing for us later." The room spun. Sing? Liam's hidden world. The one where he poured his pain into melodies, voice cracking on high notes that echoed his unspoken grief, flashed before him. No. Not here. Not like this. But Lucas, desperate to defuse, forced a laugh. He could. Actually. Liam's got pipes that could bring down the house. Come on. One song? For old time's sake. Old times. The words were a knife, twisting. Guests perked up, murmurs rippling like wildfire. Sing, sing, the chant started, playful at first, then insistent, Victoria clapping along with manic glee. Liam's pulse thundered. Refuse, and he'd look ungrateful, petty, the jealous lover exposed. Sing, and he'd bare his soul to the vultures. Trapped, he set down the tray, throat dry as dust. Fine, he rasped, climbing onto the low stage by the piano, the quartet falling silent. The spotlight hit him like Judgment Day, hot and unforgiving. As his fingers closed around the microphone, the first notes trembled out, a cover of Hallelujah, Leonard Cohen's lament, but slower, stripped bare. His voice, usually a secret shame, unfurled like smoke, rich and aching, filling the room with the weight of every betrayal, every stolen kiss. The guests stilled, champagne forgotten, as Liam sang of broken alleluias and secret chords. His eyes locked on Lucas across the sea of faces, pleading, accusing, loving still. By the chorus, tears blurred the lights, but he didn't stop. The room was his confessional now, and God help them all. They were listening. The final note hung in the air like a dying breath, Liam's voice fading into the hush that had swallowed the penthouse whole. For a heartbeat, the world held its breath, forks suspended mid-air, conversations strangled in throats, before the applause erupted, thunderous and disbelieving. Victoria's manicured nails dug into Lucas's sleeve, her smile a rictus of surprise. "My God, he's incredible," she stage whispered, loud enough for the inner circle to hear. "Where did you find him, Lucas?" "He's wasted on waitstaff." Liam stepped down from the stage on wooden legs, the mic cord trailing like an umbilical scar. His chest heaved, the vulnerability of the song leaving him raw, exposed under the chandelier's merciless gleam. He'd sung for Lucas, not them, for the man who'd promised the stars and delivered a noose. But as he wove through the crowd, hands clapping his back, voices pressing close with effusive praise, that was magic. "Kid, sign with me. I've got connections." Liam's gaze sought only one pair of eyes. Lucas detached from Victoria's orbit, cutting through the throng like a shark through chum. "Liam," he hissed, grabbing his elbow in the shadowed alcove by the bar, away from prying eyes. The touch burned, familiar and forbidden. "That was... fuck. You were phenomenal. Why didn't you tell me you could do that?" Liam yanked free, the sting of tears hot on his lashes. "Tell you? Like how you told me about her." He jerked his chin toward Victoria, who was now holding court with a cluster of admirers, recounting the spontaneous performance like she'd orchestrated it. "Or is this just another secret? Like us?" Lucas's face crumpled, the billionaire mask slipping to reveal the boy beneath. "Scared. Selfish. Sorry. I was going to. After tonight." The mergers locked in at midnight, Then I dump her. We go public. You and me. The galleries. Tours. Your voice deserves the world. The words were honey over razor wire, sweet and slicing. Liam wanted to believe, to melt into the arms that had held him through nightmares, to forgive the way Lucas's lips had mapped every scar from his past. But trust, once shattered, left jagged edges. Deserves the world? Or deserves your scraps? He laughed, bitter and broken. You forced me up there to save face. Didn't you? Play the gracious host. Dazzle the crowd. I'm not your trained monkey. Lucas. Before Lucas could protest, a silver-haired exec in a bespoke suit materialized, clapping Liam on the shoulder with paternal glee. Harrington, you sly dog, hiding talent like this? Kid, you've got a voice like Adele with balls. My label's scouting. Let's talk after the toast. The interruption was a lifeline, and Liam seized it, murmuring thanks as he slipped away to refill trays, the buzz of the party reigniting around him. But the song had shifted something irrevocable. Whispers followed him now. Not pity for the waiter, but envy for the undiscovered star. Women in sequins slipped him numbers scrawled on napkins. Men with calculating smiles offered business cards like weapons. And Lucas? He watched from afar. Victoria's laughter, a barbed wire fence between them, his eyes dark pools of regret. As the evening wore on, the air thickened with the scent of orchids and ambition. Liam moved like a ghost through the revelry, balancing hors d'oeuvres on silver platters, his mind replaying the song's refrain. Love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. How had it come to this? 6 months ago, he'd been invisible, scraping by on tips and busking in subways for loose change. Abandoned at 14 by a mother lost to opioids, bounced through foster homes where family was a punchline, Liam had armored himself with silence. Music was his exhale, the one place where pain transmuted to beauty. He'd auditioned once for a nothing off-Broadway musical, only to be told his look was too ethnic, too queer, half Irish, half Latino, with eyes that screamed other in a city that worshipped sameness. Lucas had seen past the armor, or so Liam thought. Their first real date, not a shift flirtation, but intentional, had been a picnic in Bryant Park. Autumn sun gilding the leaves as Lucas unpacked artisanal cheeses and a bottle of 82 Bordeaux. Tell me everything, he'd urged, chin propped on his hand. And Liam had spilling stories of Ohio winters, the foster dad who taught him guitar before vanishing, the first boy he'd kissed in a high school bathroom, sweet and fumbling until the bullies caught wind. Lucas had listened, not interrupting, then pulled him close. You're a survivor, he'd said. And survivors deserve to be cherished. Cherished. The memory soured now as Liam caught sight of Lucas and Victoria on the balcony, her head on his shoulder, the city sprawl a glittering accomplice to their charade. A surge of nausea hit, and he ducked into the catering kitchen, the industrial hum a brief sanctuary. Leaning against the stainless steel counter, he pressed his forehead to the cool surface, breaths ragged. Get through it. 2 hours, then freedom. But fate, that cruel puppeteer, had other plans. As he emerged, tray laden with espresso martinis, a tipsy guest, a Broadway producer with a toupee askew, cornered him. That voice, boy, you're a revelation. Sing something original right now. The night's young, murmurs swelled, heads turning. Liam's protest died on his tongue as Lucas, from across the room, nodded imperceptibly, do it, for me. Betrayal twisted anew, but so did defiance. Fine. Let them see. He set the tray down, cleared his throat, and launched into an original, a haunting melody he'd penned in the dead of night after discovering the engagement invite. Shadows and silk, your lies taste like wine / I gave you my verses. You handed me lines / but the chorus is coming, and it's breaking the chains. The words poured out, laced with venom and velvet, his tenor soaring over the quartet's improvised backing. The partygoers froze again, this time not in awe, but unease, the lyrics too pointed, too personal. Victoria's smile faltered. Lucas went statue still, color draining from his face as realization dawned. This wasn't flattery, it was indictment. By the bridge, tears flowed freely, Liam's voice cracking on "How do you sleep with ghosts in your bed?" The applause was polite, scattered, the energy in the room fracturing like thin ice. Whispers turned to stares. Who's that about? Is he? And Liam fled the stage, heart hammering, straight into the service elevator. He jabbed the lobby button, doors sliding shut just as Lucas burst through the crowd. Liam, wait! The descent was a freefall, mirroring the plummet in his chest. In the underground garage, cool air slapped his fevered skin as he stumbled toward his beat-up Honda, keys fumbling in slick fingers. Headlights pierced the gloom, Lucas's sleek Tesla screeching to a halt, blocking his exit. Move, Liam growled, voice hoarse from the songs. Lucas killed the engine, vaulting out, desperation etching lines around his eyes. Please. That song. It's about us, isn't it? God. Lee. I'm sorry. The deal's done. I just signed. Victoria's out tonight. Marry me instead. We'll marry you. Liam's laugh was a sob, raw and ragged. After parading me like a prop, forcing me to perform your redemption arc, he shoved past, but Lucas caught his arm, spinning him into the car hood, their bodies colliding in a tangle of fury and familiarity. I love you, Lucas breathed, forehead to Liam's, the words a plea. You're my muse, my everything. Forgive me. For a treacherous moment, Liam wavered, the heat of Lucas's mouth so close, the promise of absolution. Then, the garage light caught the glint of a diamond on Lucas's pinky, Victoria's gift, a mockery. He wrenched free, slamming his palm against the Tesla's hood. Love isn't a transaction, Lucas. It's not yours to buy. He slid into his car, engine coughing to life, tires squealing as he peeled out into the Manhattan night. In the rear view, Lucas stood silhouetted, a king dethroned, as the city swallowed them both. But the night wasn't done unraveling. Liam's phone buzzed incessantly, texts from unknown numbers, agents, labels, the producer from earlier. We need to talk. That voice is gold. He silenced it, pulling over on a deserted stretch of the West Side Highway, the Hudson a black mirror reflecting his turmoil. What now? Back to Eclipse? Pretending the gala never happened? Or chase the dream he'd just screamed into existence? Betrayal be damned? Dawn crept in, gray and unforgiving, as he drove to his apartment. The building loomed, a weary sentinel in Hell's Kitchen, and inside, the guitar Lucas had given him mocked from the corner. Liam collapsed onto the bed, the sheets still faintly scented with cologne, sandalwood and lies. Sleep claimed him fitfully, dreams haunted by choruses unfinished. He woke to pounding, insistent, furious. Stumbling to the door, he yanked it open to find Lucas, disheveled in last night's tux, eyes red-rimmed. "You can't run from this," he said, pushing inside uninvited. "From us." The argument exploded like the chandelier at the start. Accusations flying, voices rising until neighbors banged on walls. "You used me," Liam shouted, shoving Lucas against the fridge, magnets clattering like gunfire. "I protected you," Lucas fired back, pinning him in return, their breaths mingling hot and heavy. "The world's cruel to guys like us, raw talent without the pedigree. I was building something safe." "Safe?" Liam's voice broke. "You broke me." The fight drained, leaving them slumped on the floor, backs to the cabinets, knees touching in tentative truce. Lucas's hand found his. Tentative. "Let me fix it. One chance." Liam searched those emerald depths, seeing the boy who'd picnicked in the park, not the mogul. "One," he whispered, leaning in. The kiss was salt and surrender, a bridge over the chasm. But as they tangled toward the bedroom, doubt lingered, a shadow in the sunlight, whispering of mergers and masks yet to fall. Weeks blurred into a fragile détente, the kind built on late-night confessions and daylight doubts. Lucas made good on his vow. Victoria was excised from his life with a press release spun as mutual amicability, the tabloids devouring the scandal like chum. Creative differences, the statement read, but Liam knew the truth. A buyout clause, millions exchanged for silence. The stung, the cold calculus of their world, but Lucas's attentiveness soothed the bruise. Mornings in the Soho loft became ritual, coffee brewed strong, Lucas scrolling headlines while Liam strummed lazy chords on the guitar, humming originals that now carried hope instead of hurt. "You're glowing," Lucas murmured one crisp November dawn, tracing the tattoo on Liam's ribs, LH. In elegant script. Sunlight slanted through the loft's warehouse windows, gilding their skin as they lay tangled in Egyptian cotton. "The world's yours now. That producer, he's got Juilliard connections." Voice lessons, demos. Liam silenced him with a kiss, light and teasing. "Slow down, mogul. I'm not ready for spotlights." Truth was, the offers flooded in post-gala, emails from indie labels, invites to open mics in Brooklyn basements, even a scout from a Netflix music doc. But exposure terrified him. The queer kid from Ohio, voice like honeyed gravel, bearing his soul to critics who dissect his authenticity like lab specimens. With Lucas, though, he felt seen, not scrutinized. Their love was a cocoon, woven from stolen weekends in the Hamptons, where waves crashed like applause and they walked hand in hand on private beaches, defying the horizon's judgment. Yet cracks spiderwebbed beneath the surface. Lucas's world was a vortex, board meetings bleeding into midnight, assistants hovering like sentinels, the constant hum of expectation. "It's temporary," he'd assure, canceling yet another dinner for a crisis call. "Once the app launches." But the app, some AI matchmaker ironically named True North, loomed like a guillotine, promising to cure modern isolation while isolating Lucas further. Liam bit his tongue, focusing on his own tentative steps. A songwriting workshop at a community center in the village, where grizzled folks nodded approval at his demos. Their first real test came at a Harrington holiday soiree. Black tie obligatory, the guest list a Rolodex of power players. Liam, in a borrowed Tom Ford suit that hugged his frame like a lover's whisper, felt like an imposter amid the caviar and cognac. "You belong here," Lucas breathed, adjusting his cufflinks in the limo, their thighs pressed close in the leather confines. But belonging was a lie. Whispers trailed him. Harrington's new muse. How quaint. And Victoria's ghost lingered in pointed stares from ex-colleagues. She hadn't faded quietly. Leaks to page 6 painted Liam as the homewrecker waiter. His photo splashed beside headlines. Tech Titans tabloid tango. Lucas's PR team spun counters. But the damage festered. A low boil of resentment. Midway through the night, as snow dusted the Central Park views, a venture capitalist cornered Lucas by the roaring fireplace, booming voice carrying over the quartet's swing. Brilliant move, Luke. Diversity hire for the brand. But optics, man. Investors get twitchy with extracurriculars. The pause was loaded, the man's eyes flicking to Liam across the room, where he nursed a ginger ale, feigning nonchalance. Lucas's jaw tightened, but he laughed it off, polished, impenetrable. Extracurricular? Harold. Liam's the real deal. Voice that'll outlast your portfolio. The exchange burned in Liam's gut as he excused himself to the balcony. The winter air a slap of clarity. Diversity hire. The term reeked of tokenism, reducing their love to a checkbox. He lit a cigarette, a rare vice, pilfered from a tray, inhaling deep, the cherry glow mirroring his simmering rage. Lucas found him there, shedding his jacket to drape over Liam's shoulders. Hey. You okay? Liam exhaled smoke in a dragon's breath. Am I your redemption arc, Lucas? The queer artist to soften your edges for the shareholders. The accusation landed like a slap. Lucas recoiled, then stepped closer, voice low. No. You're my heart. Screw them. But words were wind. That night, in the loft's king bed, Liam lay awake, listening to Lucas's even breaths, the city's pulse a counterpoint to his unease. Betrayal wasn't always a knife. Sometimes it was erosion, slow and insidious. The fracture widened with the new year. True North launched to fanfare, billboards in Times Square, influencers touting soulmate algorithms, Lucas on every morning show, charisma dialed to 11. Liam watched from the wings, proud but peripheral, his own career stuttering. The workshop led to a gig at a dive bar in the East Village, 50 seats. Half empty, but electric. He poured his soul into the set. Originals weaving tales of foster ghosts and forbidden kisses, the crowd hanging on every note. Lucas surprised him, slipping in late, front row, eyes shining like beacons. Backstage, amid the sweat and smoke, Lucas pulled him into a utility closet, mouths crashing in victory. You're unstoppable, he growled, hands roaming possessive. Marry me. For real this time, no mergers, just us. Liam's yes was a gasp against his neck. The ring, a simple platinum band, slipped on later that week at a courthouse. Witnesses a barista and a homeless vet who'd wandered in. No fanfare, just vows exchanged in fluorescent hum, sealing their pact against the world's entropy. But joy was fleeting. Whispers of sabotage slithered in. A leaked demo of Liam's, raw, unpolished, circulated online, twisted into memes mocking his Harrington handout. Trolls dissected his lyrics, outing intimacies Lucas had sworn to protect. Bedroom ballads for boardroom bucks, one viral thread sneered. Hate mail clogged his inbox. Slurs from faceless cowards, threats veiled in concern. He's using you, kid. Run while you can. Paranoia took root. Was it Victoria's revenge, a rival label, or closer, Lucas's team, managing the narrative? Confrontations escalated, quiet dinners devolving into shouting matches. You're paranoid, Lucas snapped one stormy February eve, rain lashing the windows like accusations. It's the price of visibility. Visibility. Liam hurled a script across the kitchen, another workshop rejection, citing market saturation. Or sabotage. Admit it, you're ashamed. Lucas's silence was damning. He stormed out, returning at dawn with roses and remorse. But the seed of doubt flowered into thicket. Climax brewed in spring, at a true North Summit in the Javits Center glass palace of innovation, thousands milling under holographic hearts. Liam was slated to perform the keynote closer, a duet with an up-and-coming indie star, his big break courtesy of Lucas's pull. Rehearsals hummed with magic, their voices blending like fate, Liam's raw tenor lifting the pop gloss into something transcendent. But hours before curtain, disaster struck. Liam's phone lit up. A video, grainy but unmistakable, Lucas, in a hotel bar last month during a business trip to D.C. Lips locked with a junior exec, hands wandering familiar paths. The caption, True North indeed. Ask his fiancée. Betrayal, round two sharper, surgical. Liam's world tilted, the summit a blur as he confronted Lucas in a green room, door slamming like guillotine. Who is he? Voice steady, but inside, apocalypse. Lucas's denial crumbled under the footage. It was nothing, a drunk mistake. Stress. The launch. I swear. Lee, you're it. Nothing. Liam's laugh was hysteria's edge. Like Victoria? Like the promises. He tore off the ring, hurling it at Lucas's feet. I'm done being your regret. The performance went on mechanical, soulless. Liam's voice a weapon now, channeling agony into anthems that left the crowd weeping, oblivious to the war behind the mic. Lucas watched from the VIP, shattered, as Liam exited stage left, not right, vanishing into the throng. Freedom tasted like ash. Liam crashed with a workshop buddy in Brooklyn, nights blurring into busks on subway platforms, voice echoing in tunnels like lost souls. Offers still came, but tainted Harrington's ex, drama cells. He ignored them, scraping by on gigs, the ring finger bare and aching. Months passed in exile. Lucas's texts evolved from pleas to silence. The loft sold in a fire sale, True North tanking amid scandal. Liam's star rose solo, a viral subway clip leading to a tiny desk invite, then a debut EP, Broken Chords, topping indie charts. Critics hailed his visceral humanism, the queer undercurrent a quiet revolution. Redemption knocked softly one autumn equinox, at an industry mixer in a Williamsburg warehouse. Liam, mid-conversation with a label rep, felt eyes on him, emerald, haunted. Lucas, leaner, humbled in chinos and a faded band tee, nursing a seltzer like penance. No grand gestures, just a nod, a shared cigarette on the fire escape, city lights winking below. I lost you, Lucas said simply, voice gravel from disuse. And myself. Therapy, sobriety, it's been hell. But your music. It saved me. Liam exhaled smoke, the burn familiar. It wasn't for you. Not anymore. I know. A pause, heavy with ghosts. But if there's space for friends, or more, I'm here. No empires. Just me. The offer hung, a chord unresolved. Liam crushed the butt, meeting his gaze. Maybe. One song at a time. They didn't kiss, not yet. But as they descended the stairs, shoulders brushing, the melody shifted. Not victory, but possibility a hallelujah, cracked but singing. The maybe stretched into tentative bridges, rebuilt plank by plank over coffee runs and late-night song shares. Liam kept his distance at first, Brooklyn walls high, gigs his fortress, while Lucas orbited like a repentant moon, showing up to open mics with quiet pride. No entourage, just a nod from the shadows. No more penthouses. Lucas had downsized to a walk-up in the Lower East Side, trading Tesla for subway swipes. His fortune funneled into a non-profit for queer youth artists. Echo Voices, seeded with Liam's input, though he'd waved off credit. "You're different," Liam admitted one drizzly April afternoon, huddled under a bodega awning after a set at Rockwood Music Hall. Rain pattered like Morse code, syncing with the beat still thrumming in his veins. The crowd had been intimate, 40 souls swaying to fractured vows, his voice weaving betrayal into balm. Lucas had sat front row, unblinking, as if memorizing absolution. Lucas shrugged, hands shoved in hoodie pockets, the mogul's polish traded for rumpled vulnerability. Rock bottom does that. Lost the app. The rep, hell. Almost lost my sister when she cut me off for endangering the family name. He chuckled, dry as autumn leaves. Turns out, being gay in the closet nearly killed me faster than any boardroom coup. Liam's chest tightened. Echoes of his own buried grief. The foster placements where affection came with strings, where faggot was currency for survival. Why now, after everything? Because you were right. Love isn't transactional. Lucas's eyes, soft in the neon bodega glow, held steady. I was scared of losing control, of the world seeing us raw. But hiding, that's the real betrayal. The words landed gentle, disarming. Liam nodded, the wall cracking. That night, they shared falafel in Lucas's cramped kitchen, knees bumping under the formica table, laughter tentative but real. No rush to the bedroom, just stories. Liam crooning a half-finished ballad about second chances. Lucas harmonizing off-key, their voices clumsy but true. Summer bloomed with cautious heat. Liam's EP climbed charts. Broken Chords, a queer anthem for the disillusioned. Playlists shuffling it beside Hozier and Troye Sivan. Tours beckoned. Small venues from Portland to Philly. But he carved space for Lucas. Weekend getaways to Fire Island, where dunes whispered secrets and they danced barefoot on decks strung with fairy lights, bodies swaying to stolen Bluetooth tunes. No rings this time, just promises etched in sand, washed clean by tides. Intimacy rebuilt slow, sacred. First touches were reverent, fingertips tracing collarbones in the loft's morning light, kisses like communions after matinee shows. Lucas, sober 6 months, shared journals from therapy, pages of regret, sketches of a life unarmored. I want to be your partner, not your patron, he'd say, cooking pasta al dente, burning the garlic bread with endearing frequency. But scars itched. At a pride after-party in the village, rainbow flags snapping like heartbeats, jealous eyes lingered. A former hookup of Lucas's sidled up, all smarm and innuendo. Missed the wild days. Harrington? This one's got pipes. But can he keep up? Liam's laugh was steel. But later, in the cab home, doubt surfaced. Am I just the rebound? The safe choice now that the merger's dust. Lucas's hand tightened on his thigh. You're the choice. Period. To prove it, he knelt that night, not in proposal, but service. Mouth and hands worshipping like penance, drawing gasps that shattered Liam's defenses. After, curled in sheets damp with sweat, Lucas whispered, "Marry my soul." Not my name. Fall brought tempests. Echo voices launched with fanfare. A gala in a converted warehouse. Liam headlining. His set a tapestry of Foster anthems and love reclaimed. Donors mingled. Philanthropists in Louboutins. Activists with megaphones. The air electric with purpose. Lucas emceed. Voice steady. Introducing Liam not as my love, but the voice that built this. The performance peaked with a new track. Resonant Scars. Duet invitation extended on stage to Lucas, who joined with guitar. Their harmonies a vow renewed. The crowd roared, tears flowing free. But backstage, euphoria crashed into crisis. A donor, Silver Fox with Harrington board ties, pulled Lucas aside. Voice oily. Noble cause, but optics. Investors whisper your personal entanglements tank true north. Keep it professional, son. Liam overheard. The word entanglements a gut punch. He fled to the green room, slamming the door, breaths ragged. Lucas followed, face ashen. Ignore him. He's a dinosaur. But he's right, Liam countered, pacing like a caged melody. I'm your Achilles heel, the queer liability in a straight-washed empire. No, Lucas cupped his face, thumbs brushing tears. You're my strength. We define us, not them. The argument simmered, unresolved, as they drove home through thunderlashed streets. Silence thickened, broken only by wipers' swish. At a red light, Liam's phone chimed. A offer from a major label. Solo deal. No strings. Temptation whispered, fly free. No more shadows. He took it, quietly, announcement via Instagram. A grainy photo of him in a studio booth. Caption, chords unbroken. Tour dates soon. Lucas's congratulatory text came hours later. Proud. Always. But the subtext screamed. Alone? Tour prep consumed them. Liam's schedule a whirlwind of rehearsals in Midtown studios. Lucas juggling echo board meetings. Cracks widened. Cancelled dinners. One-word replies. The loft feeling vast despite its coziness. One night, post-rehearsal, Liam collapsed on the couch, bone-tired, to find Lucas packing a duffel. Conference in Seattle echo expansion. Back in 3 days. 3 days. Liam's voice pitched high, exhaustion fraying control. Or 3 months. Like DC. The accusation detonated. Lucas dropped the bag, eyes flashing. That again? I've owned it. Therapy. Amends. What more? Presence. Liam surged up, inches apart. Not apologies after the fact. I'm terrified. Lucas, this deal, the road and you're vanishing. I'm building our future. Lucas roared, the rare anger cracking his calm. For the kids like you were, talent crushed by closets. If that's vanishing, fine. The words hung. Toxic. Liam recoiled. Our future? Or your redemption? He grabbed his keys, storming into the hall, door echoing like finality. Brooklyn welcomed him back. Sublet extended, gigs stacking like armor. The tour kicked off in Austin, stages alive with encores, fans chanting lyrics like prayers. Freedom tasted heady, but hollow, empty hotel beds. Voicemails from Lucas pleading space. Miss you. Talk soon? Betrayal's echo resurfaced in Chicago, midway through a soundcheck. A groupie, lithe, lingering, slipped him a room key. Whispers of inspiration. He declined, but the temptation gnawed. What if Lucas hadn't? Guilt twisted as he FaceTimed home. Lucas's face pixelated but pained. You're killing it. I love watching. Watching. Not joining. The disconnect festered. Texts dwindling to logistics. Climax crested in LA. Tour finale at the Troubadour legendary haunt. Sold-out crowd buzzing electric. Liam poured everything in. Encores of Hallelujah remixed with originals. Voice soaring to catharsis. Backstage. Champagne flowed. Label suits toasting next big thing. Then, Lucas appeared. Unannounced. Flowers in hand. Eyes shadowed from red-eye flight. Couldn't miss this, he said, pulling Liam into a crush of bodies and blooms. The reunion was fire, kisses stolen in the green room, promises gasped against walls. Come home, Lucas murmured, fingers in hair. Marry me proper, with the world watching. Liam's yes trembled, but doubt lingered like smoke. As they tumbled into the hotel suite, city sprawl twinkling below, vulnerability crested. Promise no more ghosts, he whispered, tracing Lucas's jaw. No more, Lucas vowed, sealing it skin to skin. But dawn brought reckoning. A knock insistent, official. Label exec. Face grim. Leak alert. Photos, you two. Last night. Plus. Others. Old ones. From the tour start. Someone's shopping a story. Harrington's heartbreaker hits the road. Betrayal's trident. Not Lucas this time, but anonymous. A disgruntled Echo staffer? Rival? The photos were damning. Liam rebuffing the groupie, but cropped to imply more. Lucas's DC clip resurfaced, twisted into pattern. Panic surged. Lucas blanched. I'll handle PR. No, Liam's voice steel. We face it. Together. Or not at all. The press storm hit like hurricane. Headlines screaming queer crooners cheater saga. Fans divided. Some rallying with love unbroken. Others torching effigies online. Echo donors pulled funding. Liam's label hedged. Image concerns. In the eye, they hold up sushi deliveries. Binge-watching old musicals. Laughter defiant. Lucas proposed again. On one knee in sweatpants. Be my chaos? Liam's laughed tears. Always. But the world demanded blood. A live interview loomed. CNN. Prime time. The scandal shaping love in the spotlight. The studio lights burned like inquisitorial flames. CNN's green room a sterile limbo where Liam fidgeted with his earpiece. Palms slick against his jeans. Lucas sat beside him, knee bouncing a staccato rhythm. His hand a steady anchor on Liam's thigh under the makeup table's deceptive calm. We've got this, he murmured, voice low for the crew milling like stagehands in a Greek tragedy. Truth over spin. Truth. The word was their talisman now, forged in the crucible of leaks and lies. The past weeks had been blitzkrieg. Paparazzi swarming their walk-up, fans picketing Echo's offices with signs split, love wins versus betrayed believers. Liam's tour dates canceled in cascade, venues citing safety, labels whispering rebrand. Lucas's non-profit teetered, donors fleeing like rats from a sinking ship. His sobriety tested by endless nights pacing linoleum, whispering one day at a time. Yet in the wreckage, they'd found footing. Mornings started with meditation apps and mate tea. Afternoons volunteered at a Bronx youth center, Liam teaching song circles to kids with eyes like his once were, wide with guarded dreams. Lucas facilitating trust workshops, his billionaire sheen traded for genuine listening. Evenings were sanctuary. Rooftop picnics under strung lights, sharing playlists of redemption anthems, Johnny Cash's Hurt, Sam Smith's Stay With Me. Intimacy deepened, not in frenzy but fidelity. Slow explorations mapping scars as sacred texts. Whispers of "I see you," louder than any applause. The anchor Anderson Cooper entered like a silver fox oracle. Handshake firm, as kind but probing. Ready to set the record straight? Off-air. His nod to Liam. "Your EP's in my rotation." Raw stuff. The red light blinked on. And the Inquisition began, clips rolling of the gala 6 months prior. Liam's tear-streaked hallelujah looping like accusation. Liam. From waiter to whistleblower. Did Harrington's world shatter your dreams? Or fuel them? Liam leaned into the mic, voice steady as his stage timbre. It did both. Lucas didn't discover me. I was always here, singing in shadows because the spotlight burns queer kids like us if we're not careful. The gala? That was my breaking point. But breaking led to building myself. First, cut to Lucas, unflinching. I forced that moment, thinking I could control the narrative. Classic rich guy hubris. But Liam's talent? It's wildfire. I got singed trying to contain it. Probes deepened. The DC kiss. The tour temptations. Betrayal's a cycle, Liam admitted, glancing at Lucas, their eyes a private duet. We both stumbled, me doubting, him hiding. But love's not linear. It's messy, human. We chose repair over rupture. Cooper's follow-up. And the leaks? Sabotage from within. Lucas's jaw set. An ex-board member, bitter over Echo's direction, queer forward, unapologetic. Lawsuits pending, but that's noise. The real story? Resilience. The segment pivoted to humanism, clips of Echo kids performing originals. Liam's masterclass footage. Lucas mentoring a shy teen on pitch. Ratings spiked. Truth chords trending. The tide turning from scandal to saga. Post-show, they emerged into a media scrum. Flashes popping like gunfire. Questions a cacophony. But fans breached the barriers. A trans girl with a sharpened sign. Your voice saved me. Thrusting a demo CD. A couple, gray-haired and hand-holding. Murmuring, we see our story in yours. Liam signed. Hugged. Tears pricking as the crowd's roar shifted from jeer to cheer. In the town car home, exhaustion crashed. Lucas pulled Liam close, head on shoulder. We survived. Barely. Liam's fingers laced with his, ringless but rooted. What's next? Us. Unscripted. Rebuilding accelerated. Echo stabilized with grassroots grants, drag queen fundraisers, viral TikToks of youth covers. Liam's label reneged but an indie collective stepped up. Full album greenlit. Tour reboot fall 26. Co-headline with a folk punk duo. Lucas, he stepped back from tech. Consulting pro bono for ethical AI startups. His days freed for co-writing credits on Liam's tracks. Lyrics laced with their lexicon of loss and light. Summer solstice marked milestone. A micro-wedding in Central Park, 20 guests. Under the Bethesda fountain, rainbow flags fluttering like blessings. No tuxes, just linen shirts, barefoot on grass. Vows exchanged to a string quartet playing resonant scars. Lucas's sister, thawed by time, officiated. You two flawed fireworks. May your sparks ignite, not incinerate. Honeymoon was road trip poetry. 67 Mustang borrowed from a workshop pal. Winding Route 66 from Chicago to Santa Fe. Diner booths with jukebox serenades. Motel neon baptisms. Campfires where Liam sang to stars. Lucas's harmonies rough but heartfelt. In the Grand Canyon's hush, they scattered foster mementos. Liam's locket from a long-lost brother. Lucas's Harvard pin, symbols of chains shed. Back in the city, life wove domestic dreams. The walk-up expanded with a Nook studio, walls papered in gig posters and kid art from Echo. Mornings hummed with routine Lucas grinding beans, Liam journaling lyrics over oatmeal. Conflicts arose, human scale. Liam's tour anxieties clashing with Lucas's grant deadlines, spats over dishes dissolving into makeup dances in the kitchen. One winter eve, snow blanketing the fire escape, crisis revisited, not betrayal, but biology. Liam, post-gig glow fading, slumped with news. A callback from his doc. Routine check flagging something shadowy in his throat. The singer's curse. Nodule, the specialist said later. Biopsy pending. Could be nothing. Or, fear coiled. A serpent in Eden. Lucas held vigil, endless appointments. Green juices forced with grim humor. Nights where Liam's voice cracked silent. Terror whispering, what if no more songs? The wait was wilderness. Therapy doubles down. Echo pauses for fundraisers in Liam's name. Sing for the singer. Fans rallied. Covers flooding socials. Lucas penned a op-ed. When the muse falls silent. Bearing their fragility. Humanizing the hustle. Biopsy clear, benign. Operable, the relief was rapture. Surgery minor. Recovery a cocoon of soups and audiobooks. Lucas reading aloud in accents atrocious. Drawing laughs that healed faster than meds. Emerging. Voice husky but whole. Liam's first note was a cappella hallelujah. To Lucas. In their bed. Tears salting the sheets. Spring 26 tour launched triumphant. Arenas now. Not dives. Duets with guest stars who'd become allies. Hosier joining for broken chords. The crowd a sea of raised phones and raised hearts. Backstage. Lucas waited always, guitar case in hand, ready for encores private. Years layered like harmonies. Echo grew into a network. Chapters in Ohio and Ohio's Rust Echoes. Kids mentored into majors. Liam's discography deepened. Concept albums of queer mythologies. Grammys nodding but not defining. Lucas, a TED Talk on vulnerable algorithms. His book Unscripted Code a bestseller for burnt-out execs. They adopted. First a scrappy terrier from a shelter. Then, at 40 and 36, a foster teen named Alex. 16 and song-shy. Voice blooming under their roof. Family dinners devolved into jam sessions. Chaos symphonic. On their 10th anniversary, a quiet affair in that same Soho loft, now walls etched with crayon wars, Lucas knelt again, this time with a guitar strung with lights. Still yes, Liam, gray threading his curls, pulled him up. Eternally. The kiss was their coda. Dramatic in depth, emotional in echo, romantic in rhythm, humanistic in its quiet roar. No empires fallen, just built anew, from shards to symphony, a love that sang through storms. In the afterglow, Liam hummed a new refrain, Alleluia, unbroken, and the city outside, ever the witness, hummed along.